Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning. I'm sorry to hold you up. Thank you very much for being here this morning. It's an important moment as we come to the close of a 4-day tour. A few things. We're obviously here because the Government of Canada, the people of Canada, have asked us to extend our presence in this region. So the Prime Minister will be making an announcement about a 3-year extension here at Camp Ādaži. I suppose one of the things I'd like to say after a few days of being immersed in the situation here, specifically around Ukraine and the Russian invasion, one of the conclusions is that Canada just needs to be here. We need to be here. Our leadership is helpful when it comes to leading and commanding this multinational brigade of 14 countries, including Canada. It's clear that this is a very important project for NATO. I've heard from NATO officials in the past, this is the largest group of Canadian CAF members who are abroad serving. So it's a very unique situation here as Canada commands a 14-nation multinational brigade. I would say also that Canadians should be absolutely and rightly proud of the service of our Canadian Armed Forces members here. I've had the privilege and the opportunity to be at almost 10 Canadian bases now, and also here for a second time. I've been here, was here 2 months ago. I can't believe the changes that have taken place here in 2 months. The growth, the expansion, the barracks, the equipment. But I think it's also important for Canadians to understand, certainly I'm learning as I go along as a new minister, I am absolutely blown away by the quality, by the dedication, by the training, the competence of the Canadian Armed Forces. The women and men who serve here and abroad, forgive me, here, back in Canada and elsewhere and other missions, are second to none. Donc simplement pour dire qu'à la fin d'une tournée de 4 jours, je pense qu'on voit la présence du Canada, l'essentielle présence du Canada dans la région. C'est très important que le Canada continue à jouer un rôle de leadership, surtout ici au camp Ādaži. C'est le Canada qui commande une brigade multinationale de 14 pays. Nous avons 2000 hommes et femmes ici sur le terrain et c'est en forte croissance avec autres pays qui nous rejoignent. Et c'est important que le Canada soit ici. On voit que le Canada a un rôle de rassembleur. Le Canada rassemble les gens. Nous sommes évidemment plus forts ensemble. C'est clair, ça se voit dans la région. Maybe to say that in English as well. We're definitely stronger together. I think that's one of the takeaways from this last 4 days. We are united. And one of the things you learn here at Camp Ādaži is that when you work together in a multinational brigade of this kind, you actually work to NATO standards. So each of our countries have their own particularities, but when you come together here, you must work to NATO standards, and that's very important in terms of preparation for the future. I think no matter what happens in this region, or for that matter what happens with NATO in the future anywhere in the world, we're stronger together.
Minister,
thank you very much.
Minister, these tanks are more than 25 years old. Does the government intend to replace them?
The government's pursuing a major rebooting of the Canadian Armed Forces, top to bottom. We began by securing the finances necessary to do that. That's why we accelerated the 2% commitment to NATO by 5 full years, half a decade earlier. The Prime Minister showed great leadership in my view. The second big announcement we made was in our people, in the Canadian Armed Forces. The largest pay and compensation package increase in a generation. Now we're turning our minds to parts and equipment and kit and housing and infrastructure, water and wastewater. We see right here at Camp Ādaži the kinds of investments that are being made, and so we're very encouraged.
Minister, you're standing in front of a series of tanks. The Leopards have had spare parts problems forever. What the money that you're putting in, is that going to do anything to keep these vehicles running?
We're going to take our lead from the professionals who run the Canadian Armed Forces. We're obviously working with them to see what their needs are and how to get those needs met. So we are procuring, we're moving quickly on procurement reform. We'll be looking at parts, tanks. Obviously we've talked about fighter aircraft, we've talked about submarines on this tour. We had a meeting about that, a visit about that. absolutely, what's in play now is a rebuilding of the Canadian Armed Forces. That's why we secured the funding and the support for it. We're now moving forward to execute on that.
Parce qu'on parlait tout à l'heure,
If one company is able to deliver subs a year or two ahead of the other, how much importance do you give to that compared to, for example, getting the absolute best sub out?
Look, the criteria that will be used to assess which submarine, in this case, to buy from two suppliers, which were shortlisted, we'll leave that in the hands of the Royal Canadian Navy and the experts inside the department and the Canadian Armed Forces. Timeliness will be one factor. Interoperability will be another. Use in terms of Canadian priorities, for example, in the Arctic, will be another. Industrial benefits for Canada will be prominent in whatever proposals come forward. So, yes, the timeliness of delivery will be a factor, I'm sure. I don't know if it'll be the determining one. We'll leave that to the experts.
On parlait tout à l'heure à un conducteur de drone qui dit on en a 4 ici à Ādaži. On en aurait besoin du double pour bien faire notre travail. On parlait d'un opérateur de tank qui dit on n'est plus capable de trouver les pièces parce que les tanks sont trop vieux. Qu'est-ce que vous avez à dire à ces militaires qui n'ont pas les outils complets pour faire leur travail en ce moment?
Ce que je veux dire, c'est attendez parce qu'on s'en vient et on s'en vient vite. On est allé chercher l'argent nécessaire pour poursuivre les investissements nécessaires et nous sommes en train de repenser toute la question de comment on achète les pièces, comment on achète les matériaux nécessaires et on le poursuit vite et ensemble. PSPC, le ministère, est responsable pour créer éventuellement un nouveau système d'achat. Donc, c'est à être finalisé, mais nous sommes en mesure maintenant, avec le financement nécessaire, de poursuivre exactement ces achats.
Monsieur McGuinty a une question un peu plus philosophique. Vous êtes allé en Ukraine, vous avez vu le théâtre là-bas, ce qui se passe, vous êtes allé en Pologne où il y a le débat sur la dépense en matière de défense n'est pas un débat. En Allemagne, on va aussi parler de peut-être envoyer des troupes en Ukraine. Vous êtes ici visiter une troupe. Sur le plan philosophique, vous repartez avec quelle conception du rôle du Canada comme militaire dans le monde et l'importance de la géopolitique dans votre pensée politique?
Je pense que une des conclusions, c'est que le Canada ne peut pas maintenant dépendre sur notre géographie. Tout a changé au niveau global. La géopolitique change. Nous avons annoncé les investissements les plus significatifs depuis une génération dans les forces armées canadiennes. Je pense qu'il faut aussi conclure que le Canada doit être présent et qu'il faut rester ensemble, il faut vraiment travailler ensemble et c'est exactement l'opportunité que nous avons ici au camp Ādaži vis-à-vis de l'OTAN. Je pense que c'est un projet qui démontre le futur de la coopération militaire globale, surtout entre les membres de l'OTAN. Donc, je pense que c'est très positif, mais le Canada doit être présent et nous sommes évidemment plus forts ensemble.
Could you clear up something about the timing related to security guarantees? Because the week started with the Prime Minister saying he wouldn't rule out troops on the ground in Ukraine in a security guarantee situation. Is that contingent on a ceasefire or a peace deal, or could Canadian troops get involved while there's still conflict in the zone?
I'm not sure if there's confusion, Bill. The Prime Minister indicated that one of the options might be that Canada would have boots on the ground in Ukraine in a whole spectrum of options. We're monitoring this on a day-by-day basis. I think it's fair to say the Prime Minister has been very clear about wanting a ceasefire, about hopefully achieving peace. That's what we want here at the end of this. And we're working as we can to be able to deter, to invest, to show the way, and to obviously deal with a threat that is only several hundred kilometers from here.
But could Canada get involved if there's no ceasefire?
I don't know how that's going to roll out. You're asking me to sort of divine what might be coming, Bill. These conversations are continuing. Obviously, the United States has an important role to play. So we'll see. We'll monitor. We're leading when it comes to this base. The purpose of being here today is to thank our Canadian troops who are here serving in an advanced location. It's a very important moment for us to be coming together at NATO, and this is a perfect examination. In fact, this is the most multinational demonstration of armed forces coming together under NATO today.
Est-ce que la philosophie générale maintenant, c'était pas si tu veux la paix, tu dois préparer la guerre? C'est un peu ce qui vous anime, ce qui anime Parce que là, tout le long de ce voyage, ça a été un thème militaire. Vous étiez du voyage pendant 4 jours. Et, et moi, c'est la première fois que je vois ça, un premier ministre qui voyage autant avec le ministre de la Défense. Et à tous les arrêts, on parle de défense ou d'investissement militaire.
Peut-être. Je ne sais pas si c'est une question de préparer pour la guerre. Évidemment, il faut poursuivre, comme on dit en anglais, a good deterrence. Et c'est exactement ce qu'on fait ici. Nous sommes en charge. C'est le Canada qui commande cette brigade multinationale. On investit et on démontre aux Canadiens et Canadiennes que nous avons un rôle à jouer globalement. On continue et on démontre aussi à nos partenaires de l'OTAN qu'on doit le faire ensemble. Nous sommes évidemment plus forts ensemble. We are much stronger together. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, M. le ministre.